Vermont come through at graduation with this portrait, painting this picture for us. So this portrait was created so we've been working on this Agency of Education. It was created by working with groups around the state, including educators, students, and community members. So this here is the Vermont sample of a portrait of a graduate. And there are some schools that have created their own portraits. They all are based off of this. And there's others that haven't started yet. But the Agency of Education has contracted with Great Schools Partnership. And this partnership is working with all schools across Vermont to help everybody come up with their own portrait of a graduate. So kind of exciting. Yeah. Can I use this one? I don't want to be like, hello, everybody. Does this work? Does this one work? Is that better? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I feel so special. Okay, so now we're going to jump back to the beginning of our roadmap. Is that good, Jess? Can you hear me? Awesome. And we're going to start planning for the future. Like, what can we do to plan for the future? So I got to give you like the nitty gritty of the legislative part now. So a quick overview. There's legislation called Act 77 or the Flexible Pathways Initiative. So that's where this all started. This legislation supports all students having access to flexible pathways and also stipulates that all students in grades 7 through 12 have a personalized learning plan. How many students here or parents have heard about a personalized learning plan? Okay, good. The naming conventions at each different school it can be different. It doesn't have to say a personalized learning plan. So each school comes up with their version of it, and it's a plan or a pathway to a student's graduation where they record what they've done and what they plan on doing, their goals and such. So a personalized learning plan is designed to help students understand their interests and their goals. And knowing these interests and goals can help decide which flexible pathway is best for you. And there are quite a few flexible pathways, so planning ahead and doing this work is kind of important. Skip ahead again. So we'll start talking about the different flexible pathway programs. So flexible pathways are high quality expanded learning opportunities, including academic, experiential, and that results in participants obtaining proficiency through experiences outside the traditional classroom setting. So it's getting our students out there, exploring different opportunities, and having the support of your school, your parents, and your community to do so. Flexible pathways allow students to apply their knowledge and skills. So it's not all when the bell rings, you switch to a different subject. You use your own knowledge and skills, and skills to tasks of personal interest. So getting out there, doing what our students really want to do, and giving them their chance to explore. So we'll start by covering college and high school pathways, move on to expanded learning, and finally careers in high school. All right, part one. Okay, part one, we're going to talk about college and high school. This is kind of the most common flexible pathways that I hear a lot of when I say flexible pathways. I hear dual enrollment, early college. So we'll start off with this. In this section of the presentation, we'll cover the who, what, when, where, and how of the various college and high school offerings. I'm going to do probably a lot of talking. I'll ask some questions here and there, but at the end, we'll have some time to really work together. And I have some handouts for you that are going to go over all of these different pathways, and you can talk with your parents, talk with your friends, and explore a little bit. So it won't be all talking, but it will be a little heavy in the beginning. All right. So why college and high school? College and high school offerings are excellent options for a number of reasons. Students can explore the world of college prior to high school. They can get out there and get a taste for in-person college opportunities as well as online opportunities, which is really important when you head off after school. If you're headed to college full time, you get a little bit of taste of that ahead of time. So that's always good. You can earn high school and college credit, so you get college credit. These credits move you closer to your post-secondary goals. It's a great way to save time, and it's a great way to save money. When you take a college course in high school, I don't know what the tuition rate for UVM right now, but I know one 3-credit, say English comp class, is almost $900 at CCV, our community college. So you can think about, $900. So yeah, I mentioned each of our offerings are tuition free that we're going to talk about in this section of college and high school. We'll start with dual enrollment. I kind of hit on that a little bit. So dual enrollment is a program for students in grades 11 and 12. Every eligible student can receive 2 vouchers to be used to cover college tuition for 2 courses. And those courses can be 3-credit courses or 4-credit courses. I feel like I'm looking over here. I gotta start looking on this side. Hi, guys. So to be eligible for a dual enrollment course, there's eligibility requirements. One, you need to be a Vermont resident. So that's important to do Vermont dual enrollment, be a Vermont resident. You need to have completed grade 10. So you need to have the official completion, which kind of runs into a little sticky area with summer courses. If you're a sophomore, you can't start a summer course unless you've completed grade 10. So a lot of college courses start, say, in May, and you're still in high school. So it's tough, but if they have late starting courses and you have completed grade 10, you can use a dual enrollment voucher that. They're available for students in 11th grade and 12th grade, but you have to utilize this opportunity before you graduate. So you can't take a dual enrollment class the summer after you graduate from high school. So to access these vouchers, you should connect with your high school counselor, which I'm sure you guys do often, either they're advisory or one-on-one, but you need to connect with your high school counselor and use the Vermont dual enrollment website to request an account in the program and a voucher. So how many, has anybody in here utilized a Vermont dual enrollment voucher or course? Awesome. Can I get a hands up, like students, what 10th graders? Do we have any 10th graders? Good. So you got some things to think about. How about juniors? Okay. Are you thinking about dual enrollment? Yeah. What course are you thinking about? All right. What college? Probably UVM. Awesome. Good. Have you talked to your counselor? Awesome. Dusty, do you have a question? Oh, okay. All right. Probably this week. Awesome. Yeah. You're going to learn a lot today. You probably have more questions than you thought you would when you leave. All right. Yeah.
And when we looked into it, I felt very confused by all the options because it looked like there were in-person classes at the actual college. So the kid had to get out of high school in the day and go to the college,
Yep.
which was problematic. Then there was online learning where they had to be online at a specific time.
Yep.
And then there was sort of self-paced online learning, which felt like it was probably the most flexible.
Yeah.
But I guess just as a parent, some of the feedback is I was very overwhelmed with the options. And in the end, I was kind of like, just take AP classes.
Yeah.
The same. So I guess, was I assessing that correctly? Or
yeah. Well,
incorrectly?
AP classes and dual enrollment college classes are definitely a different types. Some colleges don't accept AP classes. Some colleges only accept AP classes where you receive a certain score. So there are some differences. What I highly recommend is getting on the phone and just calling your college and having a conversation. You would be so surprised. I know it's old school to get on the phone and actually talk to somebody, but do it. Yeah. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes talking to somebody, answer your questions. And each college is different. Like you said, there's so many different options. I highly recommend, the real online where you pick and choose when and what. CCV is really great about that. UVM in the summer has some really great options. And your student talking to your counselor, because with the flexible pathways, you can get out of, if there's a certain class where there's a lab and your student really wants to do that, and if they plan ahead and have these conversations, there's a possibility that there could be a course schedule change for your student. But last minute is an issue. If you can, the more you plan ahead, the more you think about it. That's what's great about flexible pathways. There is that option. It just might take some conversations. Yeah. Yeah, totally get it. This is the voucher site, which a lot of it could be a hang up for parents getting a voucher, getting an account. So I'll go over that really briefly with you today. It's actually very easy. It's not that complicated. Students get a little bit worried about it, but our website is located on the Agency of Education's main website. On the dual enrollment page, and right at the top of the page, it says apply for a voucher. So if you're brand new, you click on apply for a voucher, it's going to bring you to log into your account or create an account like most places do. And this is your portal to requesting vouchers for dual enrollment and for requesting courses for fast forward. I'll explain that later, but keep that language terminology in your head for now. There's also on the dual enrollment site so many resources that explain this in detail, what dual enrollment is. There's also all the flexible pathways, and it's pretty easy to follow the website. So there's a whole guide that tells the students step by step how to request an account and how to request a voucher. There's a contact information, which goes directly to me actually. So if you can't figure it out, just pop an email and I'm there. So a brief overview consists of requesting an account, completing household and profile information, and requesting a dual enrollment voucher or a fast forward course. We recommend having a conversation with your counselor. If there's anything I can stress more today, it's communication. Have those conversations with your parents, with your counselors, with your teachers. Talk to your English teacher, talk to your math teacher. Get their feel. They know who you are. They've been working with you. So yeah, have those conversations. I go back to the personal. Oh.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have to know the course that you're going to take when you apply for the voucher?
Yes, you
Okay.
need to have an idea of what course you want to take. Vouchers can be changed, so it's best if you know ahead of time when you apply for the voucher. I recommend going in, meeting with your counselor, requesting an account, talking over, what course you're thinking about, talking with the college, looking at the college catalogs before you request a voucher.
Okay.
Great question. Yeah. We'll go back to the personalized learning plan. Oh,
Hi, this might be too early to ask this question.
never too early.
If, for example, you choose a course at, let's say, UVM, and you're going to do that, does that then marry you to that school for when you graduate high school?
No, what a great question. No, it doesn't. No, that's what's really awesome about the question. She asked if you apply to a college and take a course using your dual enrollment voucher, are you married to that? She said married to that college, like you are now going there, that's your choice. Absolutely not. That's one of the really great things about these options for high school students during high school. They're flexible. So this is a way for our students you could use one of your dual enrollment vouchers at UVM to see what UVM was about. You could use one of your vouchers at Norwich to see what Norwich is about. So that's the great thing is these students get to explore not only colleges, but courses that might not be offered in your high school, courses that you're like, okay, I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a medical assistant, or I think I want to be an accountant. You can go and take one of these courses and see if that's actually something that you want to do. So that's what these are here for. Did that answer everybody's question? Go ahead. Oh, wait, let's get you the microphone.
I have a question in the sense of, so my son takes biology or business or 101 English, then decided that he wants to go to a different school, James Madison University in Virginia. Would that course translate to that college? So does that 3-credit course give him that leg up?
Yeah, these are all really perfect questions. So any school that gives dual enrollment or supplies dual enrollment courses to students has to accept other partnering institutions' credits. That's in Vermont. So we'll talk about, so they have to accept it. But say you take horse science in your dual enrollment class, and then you decide to go into medical assisting. They'll take your credits as long as they fit into the program that you're going to explore. In this case, more than likely, it's going to be an elective. So they're going to take it. It just may not go right into the program that you're applying for. So that you have to think about what program they are. Now, outside of the state, in most all cases, yes, they take the credits. It depends on the grade. Some schools will only take a class and the program. You know, if you're going into a really high level business program, they may only take credits that are above a B. There's different ways. More than likely, it'll go in at least as an elective. Most commonly, the most common courses like English Comp, they have the similar syllabuses, so they transfer a little easier than others. So it depends on the course. It depends on what program you're going through. It depends on the college. But if you're taking a dual enrollment course at a Vermont college and you're going to go off to a Vermont college, it's part of their agreement that they have to accept those credits. Where they accept them into is a different thing, but they accept them as credit-bearing college courses. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Any other dual enrollment? Let's see, portrait of a graduate. Anybody have any questions about that? Flexible pathways in general. Cool. Okay. Did I miss anything here? Oh, if you're a home study student, do we have any home study students? Awesome. Good to see you. So home study students for dual enrollment and early college work directly with the Agency of Education. So most likely me, you just send an email and we approve. So when you apply for a dual enrollment account, your sending school will approve your account. When you're in home study, the Agency of Education will approve your account. When you apply for a voucher, your sending school will also approve your account. We'll talk a little bit about when you go to if you go to a CTE, a Center for Technology Education, you can also take dual enrollment and fast forward courses. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Questions? Good timing, everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. You're welcome. How many credits can you conquer in 1 year? So if my student is a junior, how many can that student get in 1 year?
Yeah, you could use both your dual enrollment vouchers, and that would be 6 to 8 credits, depending if you took a 3 credit or a 4 credit course. So 3, 7, 8 in your junior year. If you're in a CTE center, we'll talk about that in a little bit. You can get more college credits in that program. And then we'll talk a little bit about early college, and there's more. No, you could, like I said, you could take a dual enrollment class the summer of your sophomore year. You could take a dual enrollment class. You could take 1 in your junior year and 1 in your senior year. So you only get 2
So the max could
for your
be-
high school career.
Okay,
Yeah, not per year. So 2 for the full 4 years.
so if a total of 7, that'd be 14 credits.
No,
No,
no. So each college courses are either 3 or 4 credits.
right.
Normally, so you can take 2 of them. So you'd either get 1 course for
6.
3, 6,
Right.
or 8.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah. No, they're not eligible the summer after graduation. A lot of people, and this is another great question for me to expand on a little bit is, okay, I haven't graduated yet and this class starts in May, so I should be able to use a voucher. The class has to end. You have to receive those credits before you graduate for dual enrollment. These are awesome questions. Oh, wait, we got one over here, and then I'll go to you.
So you're looking to try courses that your high school doesn't offer? And is that
That's part of
accurate?
it. They can also, they can offer AP English and you can take English Comm. It all depends. Like I talked about that personalized learning plan. It's personalized. You have a conversation with your school counselor and you talk about what's going to get you to where you want to be, what your goals are going to be. And if they offer it, it's college credit. So it's a totally different thing than a high school class because you're receiving college credit. But yeah, it's one way. It could be something to try. You want to try this out. It could be you have a goal. Like I'm going to be a biologist and this is my track. This is what I put in my plan. And I'm going to use my 2 dual enrollments to sneak me up on that plan. Yeah, you can have it all figured out. You can have it completely like, I have no idea what I'm doing. That's what's cool about it. Great question. Oh,
So this person in the chat
is asking, can you take more than 8 credits if you're willing to pay for them
yeah,
while you're in high school?
yeah, yeah. That is definitely an option.
So
I have to
if,
do it the whole
oh
time.
gosh, so if taking a gap year is something that you're thinking of, or just like, I don't know, does the dual enrollment credits still count the
What a
few
great
years
question.
after?
They count forever.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and here's a better question. They count forever. Like if you're awesome and you get an A, you're awesome forever. If you're not so awesome, you're not so awesome until you figure it out. You could be not so awesome forever, or you could be not so awesome until you take the class again. Like, so that is what you get for a grade when you take a college course is what you keep for a grade. And it's called the dual enrollment voucher, dual enrollment course. So you get that grade for high school and college, dual. So that grade goes for both. That grade's going to go on your high school transcript and it's going to go on your college transcript. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's important. Yeah, Jess.
Amy, I have a follow-up question about trying to find something that'll fit in your schedule. Can you talk a little bit about concurrent dual enrollment classes?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So concurrent dual enrollment classes are dual enrollment classes that happen at your high school. They're instructors that are actually employed by your high school, but hold adjunct faculty status at a college. Yeah. So, some of your teachers at your school, they go through the whole process at say UVM, CCV, the Vermont State University. Yeah. And they can teach these classes right in your school. You don't have to go anywhere. And this happens a lot. I wish it happened a lot more. And talk when there's lots of options around concurrent classes, and there's lots of different ones. If you talk to your principals, talk to your guidance counselors about that, they need to know if you're interested in it because not all schools offer it, but that is an option. Yeah.
About the like the relevance of a course, like taking a dual enrollment course compared to an AP. Like say you took an AP and you got like a 4 or 5 on it. Is that going to get you more or less credibility than if you took a dual enrollment course and did well on that?
Great question. And I can't really give you a definitive answer on that
Yeah.
because it kind of depends on what college you go to. Yeah, they all look at, they take a look at you and they get to pick, like they get to decide. Each and every one is a little bit different. Getting a 4 or 5 is amazing. And more than likely it's going to be the best way, that totally not a problem, but it kind of depends on them. Yeah, dual enrollment, and then same with dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is that's a 3 credit college course. So the transferability is probably a little bit better than an AP course. But again, it's still up to the college whether they're going to accept it and where they're going to accept it.
So is it like a similar structure as an AP course where you have an exam at the end and that's like
No.
your summative grade, or is it all formative, or is it a mixture of like other courses in high school?
Let's see, what is a college course like? Again, each college is different. Each way you deliver, if you're going to an in-person class, you could be going twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes. You could be going once a week for 2 hours and 45 minutes. If it's online, you could be going, you could get all your assignments on Tuesday and you have to do such and such by Thursday, such and such by Saturday, such and such by the next Tuesday when you start up again. You could have to meet once a week online. You could have to every Thursday at 6 p.m. you have to log in and do something with your class that way. You could have different tests each week throughout the whole course. You could have midterm exams. You could have final exams. It's a lot, it's a really broad spectrum of ways that you can learn. And the best part about this is you all get to look into that and make a decision ahead of time, because I think all colleges, they have to post their syllabus so you get an idea. You could look on English Comp and Professor Joe does it this way, Professor Jane does it this way, and you get to make a decision on which way you learn best. So there's a lot of options with college classes. Cool, great questions. I love this. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Sure. So I was a department chair and looked at a lot of student applications. And I would say that if you had to make a choice between an AP versus a dual enrollment course, a dual enrollment, you're at the college, even if it's online, it's a college course.
Right.
AP, no shade on AP, but it's in high school. And so we looked at college courses as really, a cherry on top, as something that was
awesome,
that showed that the student could handle the work and that they were prepared for college. So it was an indicator of success for us.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that perspective. That's good for parents and students to hear. Yeah.
Amy, can you talk about if people want to figure this out in terms of the colleges that they're looking at? What would be their next step to find out what is a better option for me, or will these credits transfer?
The first and foremost, you speak with your high school counselor. You go there. Second, you contact the college. Don't be afraid to get on the phone and ask the questions. That's what they're there for. They have people specifically there to answer all these questions. If you're an email person and you love putting out detailed, they get right back to you. So you ask the questions, go on each college's website. They all have the course schedule. Sometimes you have to hunt around a little bit. It might take patience is really good. A good thing to have, and do it not rushing. So planning ahead, like if you're in 10th grade, which we have quite a few 10th graders in here, get on there and look at the websites, look at what classes they have to offer and start thinking about what do you want to do. Yeah. Plan ahead, communicate, do your homework. We know you love to do homework and look at those websites. Go ahead.
So I missed the beginning, but
Okay, go ahead.
are the vouchers, do you have to pay a fee to the individual school?
You
Or
guys
do
are
the
asking.
vouchers
Yeah.
give you a free pass?
Good question. They give you a free tuition pass. So the tuition is paid with a dual enrollment voucher, but if there's any fees, materials, textbooks, that's up to the student to pay for. And this is all part of my presentation, so I'm just going to say it now. There is for income eligible students, students that receive free and reduced lunch, there's a question when you apply for a voucher that you say yes to, and you're eligible for $150 stipend to help pay for anything. They send you a check right to your house. But otherwise, yeah, there are costs. And I will say another great thing to do when you're looking for courses, look at what the textbooks, what they want you to have. If it's an open resource, so you take an English Comp and Jane's textbook is $150, Joe's is an open resource, I jump on Joe's class because you won't have to pay for the textbook. So, and you can find this out on with a little homework, a little digging and looking, all this information's out there and you can save a few bucks on that. Yeah, great question. We only have 10 minutes left and I got a lot to tell you. So I'm going to jump ahead here. Where are we going? I'm going to hit the right button. Okay, fast forward. You heard me talk about fast forward vouchers. Fast forward is similar to dual enrollment, the same steps. You request fast forward vouchers on the dual enrollment site. I'm not going to go into the who, what, and why and how to do that, but you can get instructions very easy. It's all on the webpage. You can get it from your school counselor. I jump way ahead here. Okay, so fast forward classes happen in a CTE center, a Center for Technology Education. So have any of you visited a CTE center or attended? Yeah, you did? Would you want to talk about it at all?
I am currently taking a class at CTE.
Yeah. Yeah, which one?
I'm taking computer systems technology.
And are you doing that for college credit?
I think there are college credits of I'm not quite sure.
You got some homework to do. You got to ask. Check in on that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So these classes are taught at, like we talked about, Concurrent. They're also taught concurrently at the CTE centers, and they're taught by CTE staff who are paid by the CTE center, but they hold adjunct faculty status at either the Vermont, it used to be VTC, only VTC and CCV, but now it's Vermont State University and CCV. So you get those credits through there. So you asked about how many credits can you get? This is where you can rack up some credits. So if you go to a CTE center, you can take 2 fast forward college credits. They're like dual enrollment, but they're called fast forward each semester. So that could be, you could get 2 dual enrollment plus 2 dual enrollment classes plus 4 CTE dual enrollment fast forward classes each semester. You can also, when you're in a CTE center, there's CCV offers online courses only to CTE students that you can also get 2 credits, and you don't have to, and then they're all free. So CTE center is something really to look into if that's your thing, and you can get quite a few credits, and you can use your dual enrollment at the same time as fast forward. Let's see, anything else on here I'm missing? Any fast forward questions? Pretty awesome opportunity, and I highly recommend if your school offers a visit to the CTE center, go and check it out. Can't hurt, right? All right, now the biggie, let me see if I can get this to move. Early college, your senior year. We've gone from 10, 11, now we're in 12. So early college, this is in your senior year. It's your entire senior year. So if you choose to do early college, you start planning when you're a junior. You need to apply when you're a junior. You need to talk to your school when you're a junior. You need to get all the paperwork and the fuss done when you're a junior. And then right before your senior year starts, you unenroll from your high school. So you're no longer a high school student and you are a college student. You're an early college student. And you go full-time to early college for an entire year. So that's 2 semesters at most colleges. We do have some that are branching out and doing some little fast semesters, but in Vermont, there's 2 semesters. So you would take a full-time schedule when you start in the fall, and a full-time schedule can be like, what is a full-time schedule? It's either 4 to 5 classes. So you have to take 4 to 5 courses at your college the fall semester, and you have to take 4 to 5 classes at your college the spring semester. Let's see, what else do I got on my list of things I should talk to you about? We highly recommend for you juniors or sophomores taking a dual enrollment course before you sign up for early college. That is one of the best ways to get prepared. Think about, you get the application, you've applied to a college, like you have, like if you think you really want to do early college at Norwich, you could take a dual enrollment course at Norwich. You are a student. When you apply for a college course, you become a student at that college. So you're duly enrolled at both places. You have that whole application process done. You've probably taken the entrance, like at CCV, they have a thing called the AccuPlacer. And you have to, that's a good thing I brought an AccuPlacer. You have to be ready for this course. And each college has a way of defining whether students are ready. And at CCV, it's called an AccuPlacer. And this is also, has anybody heard about an AccuPlacer before? AccuPlacer exam, entrance exam. Students get really psyched out because it's like, oh my God, it's an exam, it's a test, it's a whatever. Please do not get psyched out. When you go to apply for a class anywhere in the world, you're going to do it, and they ask you to do this entrance thing, do it honestly and do it wholeheartedly, because it's not a test, it's a tool. This is a tool that's going to let you know if you're ready to do it. So go in, give it your all, do the best you can. If it doesn't quite meet the standards of what you're thinking, it's good you know it ahead of time, because you don't want to get into that course and be like, I'm not ready. So yeah, so take those entrance exams and take them without all the stress and worry. It is what it is. It's a great tool to figure out if you're ready. Yeah, that's on next on my good, yeah. Yeah. It's not like I guess maybe entrance exam wasn't the best wording, but yeah, there's some sort of a tool. There's a tool to help you get ready. And every school has a different tool to figure out. Yeah, they're not just going to that tool may be looking at your transcripts. They may just look at your transcripts. They may ask for a recommendation from your guidance counselor. There's lots of different ways they can decide whether you're ready or not. Great question. Yeah. All right. Anita, where were you heading again? Oh, yeah. So you're duly enrolled. Everything that you do at your college goes back to your high school. And you make in your junior year, when you're making these plans, you're planning with your guidance counselor what courses you're going to take to meet the needs of your high school so you can graduate, and meet the needs of your college so that you can go move on to another program if that's what you're deciding. So what you do in early college goes right back to your high school. So you unenroll in the fall. So you're no longer a high school student, you're a college student. But when you finish, you re-enroll in high school and you get a diploma if you do meet the graduation requirements of your high school. And you're supervised by your advisor at college and your high school counselor to help you get to that point.
Extracurriculars. Do you get to participate in the extracurriculars of the high school?
Good question. You totally can if it fits in your schedule. Yep. You are eligible to participate in extracurricular activities. I will say quite often it's difficult because the schedules are totally different. I will put in a little, I'm going to put in a plug about workload. Now that you asked, like, can you do extracurricular activities? When you're going, say you're taking a dual enrollment, you're taking one course, you should plan on 10 hours of your life every week working on that dual enrollment course. So if you're in person, 3 of those 10 hours are probably going to be in the classroom. The other 7 are going to be doing homework. If you're doing early college, it's a full-time job. So think about it as a full-time job. You got, say you take the minimum of 4 classes, that's 40 hours of work. And it doesn't happen like high school between 7 and 3. Sometimes you have to take a class from 6 to 9. Sometimes you take a class from, I don't know, 8 to, probably don't start that early anymore. I don't remember, it's been a little bit, but yeah. We got a question up here. Hold on one sec. She's going to give you the mic. You got to do like me.
Combos. Is the colleges you list on the left, the colleges that are the partnering post-secondary?
Yeah,
I don't see
hopefully I
UVM
got
on
them
that
updated.
list.
Yeah, UVM does not do early college.
Okay, so that
Yep.
answers that. And then is this paid for, or do you have to pay? Is this?
Another great question. All the courses are paid for. The tuition is paid for. Any fees, textbooks, if you need a special computer, if you got to get an access code. I will say a lot of the STEM courses are pretty expensive everywhere because they have labs and access codes to get on to do these special programming things. Yeah. You have a question? Oh, go ahead.
So what happens if you wanted to do Norwich University? Does that mean that would be online for the year of your
No.
senior year, or do we pack up and move down?
You pack up and move down.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of fees, and you live in Winooski and your kid wants to go to your student wants to go to Norwich. You could pay for tuition room, but they can live there if you want to pay for it. Any of them. Like if your student wanted to go to Vermont State University at Castleton, they could get a room there and stay if you wanted to pay for it. Great question. I'm going to skip through. I don't want to miss anything important. Yeah, we miss careers, and I have great handouts. So I'm going to give you handouts. It goes over in these handouts. It has a little bit about all of our different our pathways. Jess is going to hand them out. Yeah. So I brought enough so that there's one for Jess. I only have 50, so it's kind of like a pair situation. So if you have a family, maybe do that. But like Anita said, everything's online. Let me skip through my slides here. College and high school questions. Yeah, please take a look at the slides. At the very end is my contact information. And I love to talk in case you didn't guess. And I know a little bit about a lot of things, about some things. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so there's me. That's my email. Reach out for email. And here's some links that are on the slide to all the different pathways. I'm giving you some handouts. In these handouts, they're called Flexible Pathways Talking Points. And these are kind of cool things to go home. I don't have them on the website, and they're actually not really even finished yet. They're a work in progress, but I thought they were important enough for today that I would give them to you. These are things to think about for each one of the flexible pathways that we offer. And good conversation starters, not only for you and your parent student, but student guidance counselor. These are things you didn't think about when it comes to each one of them. I didn't get a chance to cover work-based learning, so that's an option. I didn't get to talk a lot about the career and technical centers as a flexible pathway. Let's see, expanded learning. There's more online options like VTVLC. So if you had any questions about expanded offerings, I can help you with that. There's also the high school completion program. So I could give you a little rundown on that. There was a lot in my presentation, and you guys asked so many really great questions that I'm psyched. We didn't get to the rest, but maybe I'll do another one somewhere else and you can come. All right, any more questions? Yeah. Yeah.
This might be super obvious, but I missed it. If you did the early college, that would be full acceptance. Year one, classes are paid for by the state. Room and board, meals on the family. In years 2, 3, 4 on the family. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Think about the time savings, time and money.
But that also does not get you to that early college.
Yeah. You're not committed to go to that college. You can take those classes anywhere. Gives you a good jump start if you did decide, if you're that kid that really plans ahead and has a goal, that's awesome. You get the most bang for your buck if you plan ahead and you have a goal. But that's not an end all say all. You can go in all willy nilly and still come out awesome. Yeah, you get to make these decisions. You have time to decide. Well, it depends. You could be online. Yeah. You're fully a college student in whatever capacity that college wants you to do it. Like with the Vermont State University and the merger, they have a lot going on. Like because you can take now, like they're all one place. So if there's something happening at Castleton and it's online, you can take it. Yeah. I can't say, and they're not gonna next year. I know that. Yeah. Yeah. You never know. Things change all the time, so I'm not going to say a definite. All right, good. Thank you very much. Please reach out. I'm here for you.